When confronted with estimates that government will be giving up more than $600 million in profit for the airport and $2 billion in revenue to the Canadian Commercial Corporation in exchange for them redeveloping the airport, Finance Minister E.T. Bob Richards stated,
"Insofar as the numbers that are thrown around, these are numbers people I call number bombers. If I have the chairman of ACON here and he doesn't know what the figures are, how are the number bombers going to know what the figures are?"
But award-winning columnist and political commentator Larry Burchall insists he indeed knows the figures, as should the public.
The budget book, as it is laid out, tells you that the yearly expenses for this financial year for 15-16 should be around 20 million. That's expenses. With the departure tax bump up, the revenue should be 31 million. So the airport should bring in around $11 million in gross profit. That is what ACON is going to get.
Asked then if the figures for the airport are contained in the latest budget statement, why the Minister of Finance states no one can accurately predict the airport's projected profits.
I am not inside his head, and I don't know why he's taken that position. But the fact is, the basic numbers are out there, and they've been out there all along.
As for the minister's comment that he had the head of the Canadian construction firm ACON in his presence, and he did not know the actual figures for the airport.
And why is he here? Is he here because he wants 10 cents or a dime or a quarter? Is he looking for $1? No, the man sees potential for close on to $1 billion coming back to ACON. So he's here for that. He probably sees more. He's here for money.
The Bernews columnist reiterating his point that, as he sees it, there is no need for a new airport.
Discussion with the airport started off with this statement: we need a new airport. That started. Nobody asks why. All sorts of reasons have been manufactured since. At one point, I even had the minister even suggest that water was up to the ceiling down there. I mean, water gets up to 3 or 4 inches inside the building. I got up to that in Gonzalo. But if you build a seawall, a meter-high seawall, that'll stop 20 to 30% of the spume coming over. It'll cut down the ingress of water into the place.
Elsewhere, the suggestion by Tourism Minister Sean Crockwell that the first impression of visitors to the island will be connected to the island's airport also raising eyebrows.
I've travelled, Tari. I can't remember any airport except Gatwick, which I go through frequently. You don't remember airports that you arrive at. You get out of the damn things as fast as you can.
Meanwhile, the statement by Deputy Premier E.T. Bob Richards that the government had no choice but to use a sole source approach for the airport project, as the alternative would be no airport at all, also leaving Mr. Burchall to hit back.
That's the minister being really almost primitive. The fact is, the airport does need some fixing up, at the least. If you take the profit that's been generated by the 6 million plus 11 million that's in place, or that is put in place, multiply that by 5 years, you've got $85 million available.